So it's officially that time of year again, where the hard reality of what's happening in the global economy just smashes right into our festive spirit.
Right, the aspiration to celebrate.
Exactly. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are going to be cutting through all of that noise, all the tinsel, to really figure out the crucial patterns that are defining Christmas in 2025.
And we have, a mountain of sources for you today. We've got articles, deep research, some proprietary survey data.
The works.
The whole lot. We're talking consumer sentiment from giants like Deloitte and Visa, and they paint this really interesting picture of a cautious shopper who is still absolutely determined to celebrate.
And it's not just economics.
Not at all. We also have these detailed guides to the absolute must-visit travel spots, whether you want sun or snow. And a huge update on one of the biggest cultural events of the year.
The Oasis reunion.
The absolute massive and financially huge Oasis reunion tour.
So our mission for this deep dive is, well, it's to give you the essential shortcut. We want to understand not just what people are buying, but, and this is the critical part, how they're spending.
And why.
And why, exactly. Where are people looking for that festive escape? And, what are the specific cultural things, like a band reunion, that are giving us that big collective moment of joy we seem to be craving?
Well, the central tension is it's completely undeniable, and it's really the engine driving the whole holiday economy this year.
And what's that?
Our data shows shoppers are, well, they're almost universally expecting prices to be higher. A lot of them are anticipating a weaker economy coming up.
Yeah.
Yet that deep human need to celebrate, to mark the occasion, it endures. And this tension, it's not causing people to just stop. Instead, it's driving this demand for, extreme efficiency.
Strategic shopping.
Strategic shopping, value-based experiences, powerful nostalgic events. It's really the year of the strategic spender and the escapist traveler.
Okay, let's unpack this. All right, let's kick things off with the economic mood music, so to speak. The 2025 Deloitte Holiday Retail Survey, and this is their 40th annual one, which is a big deal. It paints a pretty stark picture. There are some serious economic headwinds.
It's not just cautious, it's, I would say, actively pessimistic in a lot of ways.
Really?
Oh, yeah. The sentiment is strikingly negative. That Deloitte survey found that 77% of shoppers expect to see higher prices on holiday goods this season.
77%, so almost everyone.
Almost everyone is walking into the season expecting to pay more. That's a huge psychological factor. But what's even more telling, I think, is the lack of confidence in the bigger picture.
The macro environment.
Exactly. 57% of consumers think the economy is actually going to weaken in the next 6 months.
And we have to pause on that 57% figure, because it's not just a number. According to Deloitte's own historical data, that is the most negative economic outlook they have ever tracked.
Since when?
Since they started measuring this stuff back in 1997. So we have not seen this level of widespread consumer pessimism about the immediate future in, over a quarter of a century?
That historical parallel is really important. 1997 was a volatile time globally. You had the Asian financial crisis, which sent these ripples of uncertainty everywhere.
Right.
For today's consumer to be feeling that same level of apprehension, it suggests they are fundamentally questioning their own financial stability. They're feeling a real pinch.
And that uncertainty, that, deep pessimism, it translates directly into the family budget.
Of course.
So amid all this, the average planned spending is down, and it's down significantly. Surveyed shoppers are saying they expect to spend about $1,595 this season.
And how does that compare to last year?
That's a 10% drop from the spending forecasts we saw in 2024. People are actively pulling back on their budgets to brace for that slowdown they see coming.
Okay, but this is where it gets a little complicated. Because while individual budgets are down, the overall retail forecast doesn't look like a total crash.
So we have to talk about that key economic idea, nominal versus real growth.
Exactly.
Explain that for us. If consumers are planning to spend 10% less, how on earth can retailers still be predicting any kind of growth?
Well, because the entire market is being inflated. Visa's Economic Insights team, VBEI, they're forecasting a 4.6% year-over-year increase in total U.S. retail sales for the holiday period.
4.6%. On the surface, that sounds pretty healthy.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
But that figure is nominal. It's just the total dollar volume of all of the transactions. It doesn't tell you how many things people are actually buying.
So we're looking at higher dollar amounts because everything costs more.
Precisely.
Not because we're all buying more stuff.
Not at all. Inflation is the real engine behind that 4.6% nominal growth.
Mm.
Inflation on classic holiday items, toys, apparel, recreational goods, it's surging.
So what happens when you strip that out?
When you adjust for that, the real spending, which is really the only accurate way to measure foot traffic or the actual volume of items purchased, is only expected to go up by 2.2%.
Okay, so let's do the math. You have 4.6% nominal growth, but only 2.2% real growth. That leaves a 2.4 percentage point gap.
Yes, and that gap is everything.
What does that 2.4% deficit mean in practical terms for, say, a retailer trying to manage their supply chain, or just for you, the shopper on the street?
It means enormous pressure, especially on inventory. Retailers are selling fewer physical items, but their own costs are higher. So the profit margins on the items they do sell have to be strong enough to make up for it.
Which leads to things like shrinkflation.
Absolutely. Should we expect fewer chocolates in the box this year for the same price, or slightly smaller toys?
Yes.
Manufacturers are doing everything they can to avoid a big, obvious price hike.
That's so interesting. So the retailer is basically fighting to survive inside that 2.4% gap. They have to focus less on pure volume and more on high margin, really strategically timed deals.
Which brings us right back to the consumer.
Who has been forced to become just as strategic and deal-driven.
It's the direct result of the economic squeeze. This value-seeking behavior, it's now the primary strategy for the shopper. And get this, it's noted by 7 in 10 shoppers across all income groups.
So this isn't just a low-income behavior.
Not at all. High earners are just as keen to maximize every dollar because they're also anticipating that economic weakening over the next 6 months. Everyone feels it.
And we also saw a pretty distinct demographic split in how people are looking for value.
We did. Women are significantly more likely to engage in these strategic behaviors. We're talking 78% of women compared to 58% of men.
Why do you think that difference is so pronounced?
Well, it probably speaks to some deep-seated cultural roles in managing household finances and, frankly, the logistics of gift giving.
The mental load.
The mental load, exactly. Women often take the lead in orchestrating the holidays, making sure the budget works for a whole list of people. So when there's economic pressure, this group becomes the most aggressive in finding efficiencies. It's a critical challenge to be solved.
So what do these frugal trade-offs actually look like? It's more than just clipping a few digital coupons.
Oh, much more. It's really a return to intentionality, but it's driven by necessity. Our sources show people are actively seeking creative ways to save.
Like what?
Like deliberately bypassing their favorite, maybe higher-priced stores to shop exclusively at more affordable retailers. They are meticulously cashing in the loyalty points they might have been saving all year.
Waiting for that crucial moment.
For that crucial holiday period, yes. And there's a genuine, quantifiable trend of people making handmade gifts instead of buying them.
That's a powerful signal, the handmade gift.
It really is. It tells us that consumers are prioritizing meaning and connection over convenience and mass-produced stuff.
Largely because that convenience is just no longer affordable for many.
Exactly.
So, given all this, what's the necessary response from retailers? What do firms like Brandians and Deloitte say they have to do?
The insight is pretty sophisticated. It's that simple percentage off discounts are just not enough to capture this new strategic spender.
You need more.
You need to go way beyond just price drops. You have to deliver this comprehensive value. That means quality, convenience, and a genuine emotional connection to entice shoppers to spend that increasingly precious dollar.
And another crucial point the sources highlighted, 58% of shoppers find the entire holiday shopping experience stressful.
Right. And that high level of stress is a huge point of failure for a retailer.
So if you can solve that.
If you can solve that, you're winning. Alleviating that stress becomes a core value proposition. Retailers who can simplify the experience with really curated gift guides or personal shopping assistance, even just super easy returns, they are essentially selling stress relief.
And in a year defined by financial anxiety, removing friction is just as valuable as cutting the price.
That's the new definition of value right there.
And this strategic consumer behavior is actually causing the holiday shopping timeline itself to warp. This is where it gets really interesting for me. The whole calendar is shifting earlier and earlier.
The metrics on this are dramatic. Over half, 57.7% of all consumers are now starting their holiday shopping in October.
In October?
Yes. And the reasons they give are twofold. One, they're strategically hunting for those early promotions. And two, they're worried about product availability or the chance of prices going up even more later on.
So it's a defensive move.
It's totally a defensive maneuver. The anticipation of uncertainty is basically encouraging people to buy earlier. You think, oh, the price might be worse next month. I better grab this deal now.
And retailers, they have absolutely no choice but to follow them.
They're locked in a promotional arms race. The big players, Amazon and Walmart, are launching major sales events in late September now.
Prime Day in the fall, which used to be an outlier, now sets the pace for everyone else.
It forces everyone's hand. Best Buy, Costco, Target, they all have to launch their own competing October events just to capture those initial strategic dollars before people's budgets are all spent.
You mentioned front-loading campaigns. So if more than half of us are starting in October, should retailers just focus all their energy there and forget about December?
No, that would be a huge mistake. The advice is definitely to front-load campaigns in October to get the early planners, but you absolutely cannot abandon the traditional core of the season.
Why not?
Because our sources are clear. November and December still account for roughly 75% of all online sales in the fourth quarter.
So the bulk of the money is still spent late.
Exactly. The timeline is extending into October, but the frenzy, the big money, the last-minute panic spending that is still concentrated in those final 2 months. So retailers need a 3-act strategy now, not just a 2-act one.
Okay, let's move from timing to the platform. The digital shift is just accelerating, and mobile dominance is, well, it's an unshakable reality now.
The smartphone is no longer just a tool you use to help you shop. It is the primary place where the transaction happens.
The numbers on this are staggering.
They really are. This trend has crossed a major threshold. Adobe Analytics reported that 54.5% of e-commerce sales came from a mobile device in 2024.
Over half.
And eMarketer projects it's going to climb even higher to 56.5% in 2025. Mobile is officially the majority driver. That just fundamentally changes everything about how retail tech has to be built.
And shoppers are using mobile to bridge the physical and digital worlds, that whole phygital retail experience.
That's the key functionality. People are standing in a physical store using their phone to compare prices on the spot.
We've all done it.
Everyone's done it. It requires instant data, perfect connectivity. They're saving items to wish lists, finding real-time personalized deals, and critically, they're completing the purchase right there, often with a thumbprint.
So for retailers, the lesson is that their entire business has to be mobile first. What does a seamless user experience, or UX, even mean in 2025?
It means 3 things: speed, trust, and simplicity. We're talking about sub-1-second load times because people just will not wait anymore. We're talking integrated digital wallets, so you're not typing in a 16-digit card number.
That's a huge one.
And crucially, it means instant, often automated customer support. If your mobile experience is clunky, if it's slow, if checkout takes more than 2 clicks, you are just hemorrhaging sales. It's that simple.
Now let's jump to the really sharp edge of this digital revolution. The rise of AI and social commerce. This is where the adoption is just, well, it's exploding.
It really is. The adoption of generative AI in the holiday shopping journey is basically doubling year over year.
Doubling.
Doubling. We're seeing 33% of respondents say they plan to use AI for shopping this season. That is a massive jump from last year. And, just as important, consumer trust is rising with it.
Right, because if you don't trust it, you won't use it.
Exactly. 26% report they trust Gen AI more than they did just 6 months ago. That confidence is what's fueling this mass adoption.
So what are people actually using AI for when they shop? Is it just find me a red sweater? Or is it more complex than that?
It's much more nuanced. It's focused on efficiency, personalization, and what you could call cognitive offloading.
Taking the thinking out of it.
Letting the machine do the hard work. Younger generations are using it for very tactical things. Finding the absolute best deal across 10 different websites, summarizing those endless, overwhelming product reviews into a quick paragraph.
That's a good one.
And generating ready-made shopping lists that stick to your budget.
But does that 33% adoption number actually translate into sales? Or are people just getting a list from an AI and then ignoring it?
It's translating directly into transactions. And that's because retailers are embedding the AI tools right into their own apps and websites.
Making it easy.
The mandate is to integrate AI-powered gift finders or style assistants. So if the AI gives you a recommendation and the purchase button is right there next to it, the conversion rate is incredibly high. It's about closing the gap between the idea and the transaction.
And this AI revolution is happening alongside the explosion of social commerce. And that is being led almost entirely by Gen Z.
Gen Z is completely rewriting the rules of commerce here. 82% of them are on TikTok. And nearly half, 48%, plan to make more purchases directly through social media in 2025 than they did in 2024.
And millennials are right behind them.
They're following closely. This is really the death of the traditional e-commerce sales funnel, where you had to leave your social app to go find the store's website. That's over.
So how does a platform like TikTok Shop change the game compared to just, say, clicking a link in an old Instagram ad?
It's the seamless integration. On TikTok Shop, you can go from watching a 15-second video review by a creator, that instant moment of discovery, to a completed purchase without ever leaving the app.
One flow.
It's one continuous flow. And people are using tools like ChatGPT for more than just lists. They're using it for complex product comparisons, for gift ideas based on really specific narrative prompts. It's a completely integrated channel that is all about speed and impulse. If we connect this whole economic analysis to the bigger picture, a really clear pattern emerges.
Which is it?
That the tight strategic spending on physical goods is directly funding a massive willingness to invest in meaningful, high-impact experiences.
Ah, so people are trading gifts for memories.
Consciously. They are saving that 10% on their average gift budget so they can justify that big trip. It's the ultimate escapism.
And our travel sources highlight this clear dual appeal. People are either chasing that traditional, cozy, cold European Christmas market vibe,
Or they're doing the complete opposite.
and seeking a sunny, tropical escape to just avoid winter altogether.
Let's start with the classic European markets. I mean, they're synonymous with tradition, and Germany is, without a doubt, Christmas market central.
Okay, so more than just Berlin or Munich.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about Nuremberg's Christkindlesmarkt. It's one of the oldest and most famous in the world. It really defines the tradition.
What makes it so special?
It's not just the size, it's the intense focus on regional specialties. You go there for the authentic Nuremberg Rostbratwurst, these tiny little sausages, and for the specific strong aroma of the mulled wine, the Glühwein. It's a full immersion into centuries of Bavarian tradition.
Okay, but what if a traveler wants that vibe, but, on a bit of a tighter budget?
Right, that's where a city like Prague in Czechia is so highly recommended. Western capitals can be incredibly expensive for hotels and food.
Sure.
But Prague offers these massive, world-class Christmas markets, especially in the Old Town Square, for a fraction of the price. And you get a unique cultural twist with the food.
What kind of food?
Alongside the hot wine, you get traditional Czech Christmas cookies called kukroví and this amazing chimney cake-like pastry called a trdelník. You get the whole traditional feel without draining your travel budget.
Now, moving west, the UK offers two very different experiences with London and Bath.
Totally different. London gives you that quintessential big city hustle and bustle, the lights on Oxford Street, the massive crowds, the energy. It's a very modern, fast-paced Christmas.
And Bath?
Bath is the opposite. It hosts an award-winning Christmas market that people love for its picturesque setting. Surrounded by that beautiful Georgian architecture, it's historical, it's intimate, it's cozy. It's the kind of place you pair with a traditional cream tea.
And for travelers who are seeking a deeper cultural or even religious element, you've got Vienna and Vatican City.
Vienna is hugely popular because it combines history, culture, and it's incredibly safe, which makes it a great destination for solo travelers. Its markets are very elegant, reflecting the city's old imperial history.
And Vatican City is a totally different kind of experience.
It's a profound one. It offers that unique chance to attend midnight mass in the Vatican, which is a powerful contrast to the commercial noise you find almost everywhere else.
Okay, so beyond the markets, some travelers are looking for pure, extreme winter adventure. We're talking bucket list trips to find a bite snow.
This is where we have to talk about Lapland in Finland. It's marketed as the ultimate once-in-a-lifetime experience.
The official home of Santa Claus.
The official home of Santa Claus.
Yeah.
People flock there for the guaranteed deep snow. They stay in traditional chalets. They go on husky rides. And, crucially, it's one of the best places on Earth to see the northern lights.
And then there's also Swedish Lapland, right? Specifically Kiruna.
Right. Kiruna, up in the Arctic Circle. That's a destination for high-adventure snow sports and really unique places to stay. We're talking snowmobiling and the world-famous ice hotels where your room is literally built out of snow and ice.
Full immersion in the polar winter.
Total immersion.
Okay, let's flip the script completely. You hate the snow, you hate the cold, and Christmas is the perfect excuse to chase the summer sun. Where are people going?
The sources point heavily towards the southern hemisphere. For a lot of people escaping the European winter, Australia is the #1 destination.
Christmas on the beach.
It's defined by barbecues on the beach. Places like Sydney's Manly Beach or laid-back Byron Bay, they offer that relaxed surf culture Christmas. It's the definition of a chilled, sunny holiday where Santa is probably wearing board shorts.
New Zealand also gets a big mention, specifically Queenstown.
Queenstown is buzzing in December. It's sunny, it's popular for its huge New Year's fireworks display, and it attracts adventure seekers who want to mix holiday relaxing with things like hiking and skydiving. High energy, great weather.
And for sun with a really unique cultural spin, Cape Town, South Africa offers that special blend.
It really does. Cape Town gives you winter sun alongside these incredible, unique experiences. For example, they host outdoor Christmas movie screenings at the Galileo in the Kirstenbosch Gardens.
That sounds amazing.
And it's also highlighted as a place for more budget-friendly safari experiences. You can see the Big Five without the really prohibitive costs you might find in East Africa.
Let's shift to Asia. Thailand and Bali are always huge draws.
Absolutely. Thailand is mainly Buddhist, so Christmas is really a commercial celebration in some places. But December is arguably the best month for weather there. Little rain, glorious sunshine.
So it's great for active travelers.
Perfect for them. Backpacking in the north near Chiang Mai, maybe visiting an ethical elephant sanctuary, or just diving into the amazing chaos and culture of Bangkok.
And Bali seems to be one of those places people go back to again and again.
It's the ultimate repeat destination. One traveler in our sources mentioned they'd visited 5 times.
Wow.
It's just hugely popular for wellness, heat, and pure relaxation. The sources even break it down by area.
Wow.
You go to Ubud for culture and wellness retreats, and you go to coastal spots like Canggu and Uluwatu for surfing and beach life.
We should also touch on the destinations that prioritize the symbolic meaning of the holiday over the commercial side.
Yes. For those seeking a specifically religious festival experience, Israel is highly recommended. The focus is on pilgrimage sites like Jerusalem and Bethlehem. It really strips away all the tinsel and focuses on the history.
And then, as a complete contrast to that, there's Tokyo.
Tokyo is perfect for a less religious but equally spectacular commercial experience. Japan is mostly non-Christian, but our sources note they go absolutely crazy for lights and luminous displays.
A dazzling urban spectacle.
Totally. And it's a great launch pad for snow sports lovers heading to nearby Niseko for some of the best powder skiing in the world.
And finally, we can't forget the classic American cinematic Christmas experience.
New York City.
New York City.
It's still the essential stop for anyone who wants to live out the movie version of the holiday. The intense energy, the rush of Christmas shopping, maybe finding a Miracle on 34th Street.
And ice skating at Rockefeller Center.
You have to do it. It's an experience that's been sold to the world through film for decades, and it's still incredibly potent.
That transition from physical travel to a cinematic escape is perfect. Because even if you aren't flying to Bali or Prague, you are definitely seeking comfort through media.
Domestic escapism.
Exactly. And we have to acknowledge the massive cultural pull of specific Christmas media, especially the huge excitement for the 2025 Hallmark movie lineup.
This is a massive cultural touchstone. These predictable, cozy stories provide this necessary contrast to all the economic uncertainty we were just talking about. And fans are already ranking the new releases for 2025.
What's getting the most buzz?
The most anticipated movie, based on fan tracking, is one called Merry Christmas, Ted Cooper. That's number 1.
Okay.
Following that, you've got other soon-to-be classics like Single on the 25th, She's Making a List, Grand Ole Opry Christmas, and Sweet Holiday Romance. But it's not just about the 2-hour movies anymore.
Right. The sources pointed out that some of the TV shows are generating just as much, if not more, excitement.
Specifically, Season 2 of the really popular mystery series, Mistletoe Murders.
I've heard of that one.
And the reality dating show, The 12 Dates of Christmas. That's also getting major buzz.
Yeah.
It shows that people are looking for serialized, comfortable, predictable joy week after week.
So let's talk about the soundtrack to all of the spending and saving and this craving for escapism. The global focus on collective joy is maybe best seen in the Oasis Live 25 tour.
This is so much more than a tour. It's a full-blown cultural event that's bridging generations.
It's a blockbuster.
A seismic blockbuster. It's been hailed as one of the most triumphant reunions in modern rock history. And the financials, they just bear that out. It's estimated to gross over $1 billion worldwide.
$1 billion.
The demand was just astronomical from the second the news broke.
And the context here is so important for anyone who missed the drama over the last, decade and a half?
Right. The band was officially done in 2009. It ended with that massive, explosive fight between the Gallagher brothers in Paris.
Legendary fight.
The one that ended with Noel smashing Liam's guitar backstage. It cemented their breakup in rock and roll lore. But then, after 15 years of public feuding, secret talks started in the spring of 2024.
And that led to the tour.
That led to the tour. And while it's this huge cultural success, the relationship between Noel, who's 58 now, and Liam, who's 52, is still this volatile, fascinating engine driving the whole thing.
The financial incentive to just get along must be staggering.
I mean, think about it. They're both set to earn an estimated £50 million each if they can get through the entire global tour without a public meltdown.
That's an incredible amount of money, a very powerful motivation to maintain some professional distance.
And the sources paint a picture of highly managed separation.
How separate are we talking?
Well, despite the success, the relationship is still very tenuous. They reportedly kept their hotels 30 miles apart when they were in Ireland.
30 miles?
The ultimate professional boundary. And Liam's pre-show routine is legendary for its solitude. He does the sound check, goes straight back to his hotel room to chill all day, shows up 20 minutes before they go on, and then straight off the stage and into the car the second the last note rings out.
Yeah.
There's almost no interaction backstage.
So that professional distance is really the key to the whole thing working. But then once they hit the stage, all that explosive energy seems to transform into this genuine, undeniable chemistry.
That's the magic of it.
Yeah.
Critics and fans all say their explosive past dynamic is now being channeled into this powerful emotion that just connects with these massive crowds.
And it creates that communal high.
Exactly. There was even this highly publicized moment at a recent show in Sydney where they briefly linked hands, a little symbol of professional reconciliation that just sent the crowd into a total frenzy.
And beyond the drama, Liam's performance has been a huge talking point. He sounds incredible.
His voice has been a standout feature of this whole tour. He seems to be fully recovered from the health issues that were plaguing him a few years ago.
And some people are saying he sounds better than ever.
Some critics are claiming his vocals are actually better now than they were in the 90s heyday. More refined, more controlled, but he's still got that essential, raw, confrontational edge. This is not just a nostalgia act. It's a high-quality show.
The cultural resonance goes beyond just the performance, though. The strategy behind the set list was critical.
Oh, totally. Noel was very explicit about this. This is not a tour to promote a new album. He said, quote, "It's about the songs people know."
Pure fan service.
The highest level of fan service. The set list is this tightly structured chronological journey through their classics. They kick off with Fucking in the Bushes, and then roll right into anthem after anthem. Rock and Roll Star, Supersonic, some might say.
And Wonderwall.
And, of course, Wonderwall. It is delivered flawlessly every single night.
And that strategy led to this unbelievable rush for tickets. Something like 14 million people tried to buy tickets for this tour globally.
Which is insane. But what's really compelling to me is the intergenerational appeal this music is having right now.
You mean it's not just the original fans?
Not at all. Spotify streams surged in 2025, bringing in over 16 million new listeners globally. And here's the real shocker. Over 50% of those new listeners were Gen Z.
Wow. That's astonishing. So this isn't just middle-aged guys reliving their youth. A whole new, young audience is actively seeking out and embracing this 90s rock. Why?
The sources suggest it's a powerful cultural response to the algorithmic feed.
What do you mean?
Well, for Gen Z, who grew up on hyper-curated, personalized, often digitally fragmented music, Oasis offers something different. It's raw, it's authentic, it's guitar-driven anthems that were built to be screamed by a huge crowd.
A collective experience.
A collective experience. The tour has really transcended simple nostalgia. It's become a symbol of communal optimism and unity, a necessary break from digital isolation, and frankly, a powerful response to a decade of political and global turmoil. The demand for that collective, unmediated joy is just immense.
So this raises the big question, given how energized Noel clearly is by this reaction. What about new music? Can we expect a new Oasis album?
The answer, for now, is defined by creative uncertainty. Meaning, Noel has definitely been energized. He's reportedly strumming some new tunes in his dressing room. But he remains undecided if those songs are for Oasis, with Liam singing, or if he'll continue on his very successful solo path.
So no studio return has been agreed upon yet?
Nothing formal. The door is open, but it seems to be purely a creative decision for Noel to make.
Well, while we wait for that decision, we should probably look at his recent solo work with the High Flying Birds. It might give us some clues about his current creative mindset.
I think so. Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds released the album Council Skies back in June. It was produced by Noel and his longtime collaborator, Paul Strangeboy Stacey.
And it had a pretty big guest star on it.
A legendary one. Johnny Marr plays on 3 tracks, including the single Pretty Boy. It's this great blend of that classic Manchester sound with his more current, mature songwriting.
And the album title itself, Council Skies, it suggests a return to his working-class roots.
It absolutely does. The title actually comes from a book by the artist Pete McKee, who's a friend of Cole's. And Noel himself said the theme of the album is going back to the beginning.
What did he mean by that?
He said he was focused on that feeling of youthful yearning, of ambition, and the harsh reality of growing up poor in Manchester. He recalled how music, like watching Top of the Pops in the early 90s, was this essential, almost mythical escape.
A fantasy world of possibility.
Exactly. He wants his music to be elevating and transforming.
Which connects perfectly back to our main theme of escapism this Christmas, whether through travel or media.
It connects entirely. While everyone was looking for a literal escape to Bali or Prague, Noel's reflecting on the powerful internal escape that music gave him as a kid. It just underlines that universal human need for optimism and transformation.
And there's this one wonderful, very specific detail about the album artwork that just drives that theme home.
There is. The artwork was shot by the Manchester photographer Kevin Cummins, and it features the band's live gear, all the guitars, the amps, the drum kit set up precisely on the original center spot of Main Road Football Stadium.
The old, now demolished home of his beloved Manchester City.
Exactly. It just perfectly underscores that theme of returning to the absolute core, to where it all started before all the fame and the fights and the billion-dollar tours.
So what does all of this mean for the close of 2025? If we look at the economy and the culture side by side, we get this really defined, complex picture of how we're all navigating this profound uncertainty.
Christmas 2025 is totally defined by that powerful tension. On one hand, you have cautious strategic spending. You see it in that 10% drop in the average budget, that 2.4% gap between nominal and real growth.
And on the other hand,
an intense strategic pursuit of high-value deals and high-impact experiences. People are finding these incredibly creative ways to save money, a lot of DIY, a lot of early shopping.
so they can afford those meaningful moments.
So they could afford the big trip to Lapland or the massive stadium concert ticket.
And the way we're spending has just fundamentally changed forever. The digital shift is complete. AI, mobile, social commerce, these are no longer optional tools for retailers.
They are mandatory, they are foundational. They are reshaping how over half of all shopping is done, driven heavily by a Gen Z consumer who expects a frictionless, intelligent, and highly personalized experience.
Primarily on their phone.
Almost entirely on their phone and inside social media platforms.
And finally, that cultural demand for collective joy and unity is massive. It's like a direct counterforce to the isolation of the digital world.
We see it everywhere. In the global push for both cozy and sunny travel, in the dedicated consumption of comfortable, predictable media like Hallmark movies.
And of course, in the huge intergenerational success of the Oasis reunion tour.
Which is uniting millions of new listeners under this banner of 90s communal authenticity.
Which brings us to a final, provocative thought to leave you with, one that really contrasts the two major forces we've looked at today. The Gallagher brothers are earning millions of pounds and uniting a new generation by relying almost entirely on the past. They are delivering the songs people know in a perfectly nostalgic set list. They are monetizing history.
And at the same time, the entire retail industry is scrambling desperately to embrace the future. Rapidly adopting AI, optimizing for TikTok Shop, completely changing the shopping calendar. They're betting billions on innovation.
So here's the question. Which model, relying on established, proven classics and authentic nostalgia, or innovating through rapid digital adoption and future-proofing, will ultimately prove to be the more resilient, the more profitable strategy for keeping us hooked and for keeping the global economy turning in the years to come?
It's a fascinating dichotomy to watch unfold.
And it's one that will likely define the next decade of both commerce and culture.